Hey, it's Drew Powell, Butch from TV's Gotham, and you are listening to the Showdown Podcast.
Thanks, everybody, for downloading the premiere episode of the Showdown. And
The Showdown!
Yeah, thank you. Please feel free to leave us comments and all that other jazz on iTunes. And if you're not downloading on iTunes, you can also listen to us on Stitcher as well. We do want to say that this is our first episode. We have recorded 3 other episodes since this one. Things have been ironed out a little bit better, so please stick with us. Thanks again, everybody, and keep listening. The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown with Corey Miller, Brad Scott, and Vic Miller. A debate over what movie is better, Corey's choice versus Brad's choice. They each plead their case and try to destroy the other person's. It's a combat of subjective opinion. Vic is the impartial judge, and his say is always final.
The following podcast contains spoilers and adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
The Showdown Podcast with Corey and Vic. A debate on what movie is better, Corey's choice versus Vic's choice. They each plead their case and try to destroy the others. It's a combat of subjective opinion. I'm Brad Scott, your impartial judge, and as always, my say is final. Welcome to episode 33 of the Showdown Podcast, the Brent Terhune Memorial Invitational Classic featuring Brent Terhune. Presented by Mr. Turkey. The album drops August 7th on iTunes. Today's fighters, the challenger, Corey, Child of the Corn, Miller, and his film, The Omen. And his opponent, the reigning Showdown Podcast champion, Victor, I'm Here, Late, Miller, and his film, Poltergeist. Gentlemen, let us diligently prepare to podcast. The Showdown Podcast presents episode 36, the As Seen on TV title match featuring Matt Holt, with your host and referee Brad Scott, a comedian with the ability to make a room full of strangers laugh, Corey Miller, an independent filmmaker with the gift of creating art out of life, and Vic Miller, a black guy. Today's films are The A-Team versus Mission Impossible. Let's get ready to podcast.
The Showdown Podcast presents the Survivor Series with Corey Miller and Brad Scott. This week's episode, the Showdown Podcast. Welcome to the best of the Showdown Podcast. This week's episode is a special Survivor Series episode because we're going to be taking a look back at what we consider to be some of the best and funniest moments from the show. And at the end, we're going to see whether they survive or not, whether it holds up.
The show holds up.
Yes.
Not the clips.
So thank you guys so much for listening. And if you are a showdowner, welcome back. If you are a new listener, this can hopefully be a nice introduction to the show.
And the history of the show.
So maybe you'll be, because we do a lot of inside callback jokes.
Mm-hmm.
to previous episodes, and if maybe it wasn't a movie you liked, you probably skipped that episode. Or if you had to hear Corey more than once, you probably skipped a lot of episodes.
Yeah, probably. At least, hopefully, at least downloaded it to help our stats.
Yeah, you don't even have to listen, to be honest.
Yeah, just download it.
But
you could even, if you want, just go to your mom and dad's phone, click on.
What the hell? How old do you think our listeners are?
Well, I'm sure their parents have phones. Just go on to iTunes and click
just
subscribe.
other people's.
Yeah, just go on there, click subscribe, and then close it out and don't tell them.
These hypothetical listeners also live with their parents?
Some of them could.
Okay.
They may not. They can just go over their house sometime and just do it.
So if you're a new listener,
Mm-hmm.
We like to do this thing here when Corey does stuff like he just did.
Yeah.
That sound means Corey just derailed the show. So if you are a new listener, we hope you like these highlights of past episodes, and we hope that it causes you to, come down with Showdown syndrome. No one is immune.
Nope.
So how are we gonna do this? Let's. We have a lot of clips to get to.
Well, let's talk about what we heard in the beginning.
First, we want to talk about. Go ahead.
What we heard in the beginning was basically kind of like an intro montage of the last almost 3 years.
It'll be 3 years this summer, I believe.
Yeah, it's a kind of a highlight reel of the way the show would sound when we'd first start the episode.
The Showdown.
Yeah, there you go. There is stuff like with Brad calling out the Showdown 5 minutes late. I forgot that we used to do that.
Yeah,
and
I forgot that there was a time where where I was a judge and we didn't have music.
Yeah,
and that A-Team theme is maybe one of my favorite intros that we've ever done.
I think it may have been where we started using the music.
It might have no, because Rick Rude I think was the first.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what episode it was, but I think Rick Rude was the first music we used, and then we also moved into the
sound got better too. Let's not.
Yeah, keep in mind some of these clips are going to be from when we just had a snowball microphone in the middle of the kitchen table at the Miller Zoo.
Yeah. So it's not that we recorded it. Well, okay, we originally recorded it bad, but for the sake of this episode, it's just a replay. So yeah, you're hearing the somewhat weird. You don't get the bass in our voice as you would hear now.
Oh God.
You so want to play that sound, I know. But it is true. I mean, yeah, it sounds a little bit tingy. So, and that just shows where the show has grown from.
Okay, yeah. And here's what I was giving you that loser game show sound, because you took me out of what I was trying to remember, and I couldn't remember, and I got frustrated.
And now you can't forget.
As my rascals know, I am the king of bong style.
Yes.
So, we also used to do the Memorial Invitational Classics.
Yeah.
Which is when we had a returning guest. We always did a Battle Royal Memorial
Battle Memorial Battle
Royal Classic,
yeah.
And then there's other variations, I'm sure. But it was
we
basically a way of saying that they were dead.
Yeah,
and they would always come in with the joke, "I'm not dead," and you could tell who the entertainment veterans were because you could hear them.
Yeah,
we had a lot of people where you would just hear me start the show, and then you just hear, and then you'd hear me go, "All right," and I'd ignore it, hoping that the "I'm dead" comes through.
Yeah,
but we have a lot of clips to get to.
But before we start, we do need to hold on. I know you're gonna.
We didn't talk about any of this. And okay, you lead us until you want me to set up the first clip.
I was gonna say we need to call out the fact that it's just you and I here.
Oh,
yeah. See, I'm not derailing the show.
You're not, yeah. It is just, so if you're a first-time listener, you're like, oh, my God, who would listen to these two? Well, it's not the right formula right now, okay?
Right.
We're like, I don't know, whatever you would have just the perfect amount of ingredients for.
Yeah.
We're a cake, okay? We're a cake. If you put too much salt in us, put too much sugar, put too much...
Do you put salt in a cake?
I think so.
No, you don't.
Like in the batter?
No, it's usually eggs and flour and milk.
Okay, well, but if you take... Okay, eggs, flour, and milk.
Yeah.
Perfect. Eggs, flour, and chocolate milk. If that's our show. If you take out the chocolate milk, it's just not the same.
No.
You can't make the cake.
Yeah.
You're stuck with, you're stuck with
some runny batter.
Well, you're stuck with a hard-boiled egg like myself and some very white flour.
Oh wow!
Across from me.
Yeah.
So this will be an interesting show. But Vic, so this is, I mean, we're joking because that's what we do in pain, in times of stress and tragedy. And something very tragic happened to our own Vic Miller. We are going to laugh today for him. He was playing online a game of, was it Call of Duty? He was playing Call of Duty, and he was playing as his alter ego, Corey.
Black and Angry. That's BALAQ and Angry on Xbox One.
He's playing as his alter ego, Black and Angry, and unfortunately, he ran into White and Trump, and now Vic is dead. Sick of us doing jokes like this when he's not here.
Yes.
Vic is fine. I mean, not really. He's in Delaware. He might be dead. That's a lot of white people.
Yeah.
And he's a big black guy.
I haven't heard from him since Sunday.
Uh-oh.
So
He's dead.
yeah.
Vic, R.I.P. R.I.P. VIC. Oh, my God. Vic has to die before us because we could get T-shirts that's like the Run DMC logo, but it says R.I.P. VIC.
Yeah.
All right, Vic, you're going to have to die.
Yeah. Either that or we'll just make them anyway. We can put them like on Pro Wrestling Tees and we can sell them that way.
Showdown shirts. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it, yes. So, Vic's in Delaware now, and then today he's actually in California being beaten by the police.
Probably.
So, he is not able to join us, but he'll be back on future episodes, of course. It wouldn't be the Showdown without Vic, and we miss him dearly. And this episode is... The only thing that's going to save this episode is that Corey and I believe, these clips are very funny.
Mm-hmm.
These are some of the... We touched on this earlier. Sorry. What else am I forgetting before we get started?
No, that's it.
That's it? Okay.
Yeah.
So like we said earlier, these are some of what we consider to be the highlights of the show and the ones we can remember and the ones that were easy to find. And these are jokes. A lot of these we've called back to, and then a few of them even I kind of just rediscovered. And these are just funny moments from the show.
What we'll do is we're just going to run through. We're going to give you some of the highlights, some of the things that we think are the best of that we've been able to cultivate through the over 100 episodes.
And as we said earlier, a lot of these are callback jokes that we do often. So now, if you're a new listener, it's kind of like Cliff Notes for the show. You get
it's a reset, as they call in the radio business.
Yeah, you get a heads up for future episodes. You'll be caught up with us, and you'll be able to maybe you've thought this show has sucked because you're like, that joke doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand it, but
now it will. So, ready for clip 1?
Yeah, what is that first one?
So our first clip comes to us from all the way back at episode 27. One of our first guests, not our first guest, but one of our first guests, my good buddy Jeff Vibert. Check out the Jeff Vibert podcast on iTunes and I'm sure a bunch of other platforms. Just Google it or use your current podcast platform. The Jeff Vibert podcast, very funny. Works for Bob and Tom, works on the Chick McGee podcast, very funny kid. He'd
appreciate you calling him a kid.
He is. He's my nephew.
Okay, Snoop.
Good looking out, nephew. So here's the Jeff. Back then we used to have battles, and if you've been a recent listener, you haven't heard probably hardly any of those because we have not done them as much. That shit was hard to come up with and make clever, and it got to a point where once we figured out the show and got comfortable, we felt the Survivor Series was a better avenue. But back when we used to do battle, this is one of the early episodes of me being a judge as well, and the guest would pick 2 movies that we just said needed to be somewhat related, by a genre. And each person, you and Vic would, one of you would take turns, flip a coin, whatever, and that person picked their movie first, and the other person had to defend the other movie.
Correct.
So for this episode, Jeff Vibert chose Alien, because he went 80s.
Yeah, it was 80s.
Alien and Rocky 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, which is important because Vic was not aware that it was Rocky IV. He thought it was Rocky. And so that's the movie he watched and prepared for. And we learned something fascinating about Vic in the Rocky franchise that I thought was almost kind of disturbing.
Yeah.
So here's the clip from episode 27. Enjoy.
Jeff is joining us today as our special guest, and you can also hear me on the Jeff Weber Podcast, episode 11. But we're basically going to be battling with two of his all-time favorite movies. Corey is taking
Rocky IV
and Vic
Alien.
All right, so Vic's the reigning champion. Do you want to go first or second?
I am deferring to my colleague.
All right, Dancing Destroyer, King of Sting, Count of Montefisto, Master of Disaster, Cowrie Mueller. What do you got?
And the name comes back.
Here we go, Rocky IV.
Okay. In case you don't know, Rocky IV is about Apollo Creed decides that once, what was his name? Dolph Lundgren. He's, what the fuck was his name? The Russian.
The movie?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Ivan Drago.
How the fuck did I forget that?
I'm trying to figure out why you're talking about Rocky IV.
Because
He's talking about it because that's the movie.
that's the
You really put Rocky on this.
No, it's Rocky IV.
No.
Definitely put Rocky.
No.
When I talked to
He's
you,
the one.
This is quite the predicament.
when I talked to you, you said Rocky.
Have you not
And I
seen
said Alien.
Rocky IV? Are you not
No.
familiar? You've
I
never
don't
seen
watch
IV?
Rocky movies. I watch Rocky specifically for this man right here.
Oh, yeah, well,
Exactly for this man
You
right
are-
here.
you
You should
are-
be honored.
you are 4 movies behind.
I'm breaking my own rule.
Yeah.
I love how I clearly stated Rocky IV initially. And Vic, then when I said Vic just went with Aliens. Like, he was so excited to say his movie, he completely
He didn't even
he
hear.
let it sit. Yeah, he just kind of sat there.
He was waiting for you to say aliens, like he was just sitting there by the microphone. Say it. Alien.
So in this next clip, we go all the way back to episode 43. And this was the Wizard of Oz versus the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It featured Chris Trueblood.
Yep.
And he is the bassist
Yeah,
for that 90s band.
Correct.
Who only performs when I am out of the state of Indiana.
Yeah.
But I'm told they're amazing.
Yeah.
And you can check them out at that90sband.com. I think, maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know. Google
they're
that
on,
90s
I know
band
they're
Indianapolis.
they're on Facebook. They're on Twitter, too.
Google that 90s band Indianapolis.
Yeah.
But they were really cool, and he was a great guy. He was really nice. Eerily reminded me of another co-host we had at one point, Jimmy Roberson. But this is from Wizard of Oz and the Rocky Horror Picture Show were the two movies.
Yeah.
And basically, this is Corey's going through the plot, and he talks about when Dorothy meets the Scarecrow, and all the Scarecrow wants is,
as we all know, he wants a brain.
I gotta go to the other sound creating device.
Oh, did I do something? Yep.
I was getting ready to do the big setup into the clip, and you just completely stepped all over it.
No, not really. Everybody knows.
Corey, you stepped on the goddamn setup! It was perfect! I was gonna say, all he wants is a brain, or...
So anyhow, so she follows the Old Brick Road, and she comes across a scarecrow who she helps down off his little perch, and he says, "I want a brain." So she's like, "Well, come with me. The wizard could do that for you."
He wants a brain or he wants brain?
I was thinking that too. I want some brain, Dorothy.
That was for Vic. That was for Corey.
Hell yes.
Really? So anyhow, they continue on, and they stumble across the Tin Man, and they find out that he's been rusted in place for years. So they get his oil can, and they unrust him.
That would be a good parody, though.
What's
if
that?
I only got some brain.
Oh, I'm sure it's
I
fun.
would visit your parents. I would go stay at your sister Karen's if I only got some brain.
So
Oh, I would tell you why my balls would feel so dry. I would put it places never put it before.
I think
Try it, and you want some more.
You need to write that.
Yes.
You seriously need to actually write that.
Yes. Before this airs, you may be seeing that skit on YouTube.
Nope.
Nope. Too lazy.
Yep.
Corey, by the way, how about we do real quick
Yeah.
a sneak preview of something that we have coming in the future. We are going to bring you the Showdown Live.
Okay.
Because these Showdown episodes are obviously pre-recorded, and then Corey goes and edits them.
Yeah.
And
As much as Brad says, I don't do anything.
but
on the show.
he does a really good job of editing. But
Thank you.
in true Corey Miller fashion, he is now trying to be lazy as fuck and get out of editing by painting it as let's do a live episode where we don't edit anything and we leave in all the mistakes and the mistimed video or sound cues and stuff, which is basically his way of saying, how about that way all we have to do is record it, I type up a lazy ass description and then get that motherfucker posted. Right?
Yeah, sure.
So our next clip,
That's it.
our next clip is it's a more recent episode, and I think it's honestly the best episode we've ever done. I feel comfortable saying that.
Do you?
It is number 1 on my list.
Oh, okay.
It is Child's Play from our Child's Play episode, and our special guest host, the most adorable guest host we've ever had, my daughter, Harper Henson. That's right. My 9-year-old daughter joined us on the show to talk about Child's Play, and she had an adorable moment. Let's just say that.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Takes him home. So she takes Chucky home, and she's trying to figure out everything that's going on. And she's like, I know that my son's not doing this, but he's saying that this doll is doing it. And she's like, I don't understand. And then she grabs the box to throw it away, and the batteries fall out. So everyone knows that this thing's been talking. Everyone's seen this thing talking. She knows it's been talking. She knows she didn't put the batteries in it, which she assumed were in there from the start. And she grabs Chucky and pulls open his flap, and there's no batteries in him. And his head spins around and talks to her. At that point...
No, does not.
No?
No, she has to coerce it out of him.
Yeah, she starts threatening him.
Damn it, or else I'm gonna throw you in the fire!
Oh,
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
by the way, this was 46 minutes into the movie.
before an adult knows.
Before you see him with life. That's impressive.
Yeah, because you don't really actually see it.
Right.
On how many more fight a 3-foot-tall doll.
Several.
Yeah. So she's fighting off Chucky and trying to.
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
That's
apparently a full-grown adult cannot fight a 3-foot-tall doll or 2-foot-tall doll.
I mean, really, couldn't you just hold it by its arms out? And there's really nothing it can do. Maybe it could try and bite you, but if you hold the arms far enough...
Apparently it's got the strength of a human man.
Apparently.
Is the only thing I can figure.
Well, let's also look at the fact that you might be caught off guard. That you're holding a doll that just said to you,
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
so maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe not. Maybe you don't have your wits about you after a fucking doll just came to life and
You stupid bitch! You filthy slut! Did you fuck with me?
Okay, I will admit, maybe I would probably...
like you're probably going a little bit of shock.
You'd be offended if nothing else. How dare you talk to me like that?
But this,
stupid.
but now everybody knows.
Well, she knows.
Or she knows. Yeah, and but then like shortly after that, because Chucky escapes.
Yeah.
And he goes down the elevators, and
He says to this old lady, fuck you.
Because she's like, that's the ugliest doll ever. He wasn't even like damaged at that point, so he still was supposed to be cute.
hold on, I know I'm an awful parent, but what did he say to her again?
Fuck you.
No child sensibilities were damaged in the
Did you hear the adorable moment? Have you already called CPS? So there is one little thing, and my mom missed it. Did you hear? Your
mom listens to the show?
No, I played her that clip today.
Oh, okay.
Because I found it on my phone. Did you hear her ask me for permission?
Yeah, you can kind of hear it.
Listen closely. Yeah, it's right after he says. If you listen closely, you can hear her asking me if she's allowed to say the line.
Well, she knows.
Or she knows, but then, like, shortly after that, because Chucky escapes.
Yeah.
And he goes down the elevators, and
He says to this old lady, "Fuck you."
Did you hear it?
Yeah, it's real faint.
It's real faint, but you can hear her go, "Can I say it?" And that's her saying, "Can I say it?" And yeah, I'm a horrible parent. Our next clip comes to us from our Clueless episode.
That's an old one.
Was that the first Survivor series?
I think it was.
Yeah, that was the very first Survivor series because when you said 90s movie, that was the first thing that came into my mind. And yeah, that's kind of what started the whole new direction of the Showdown. And basically, we do a lot of recasts on this show, and we got to a point where we started doing impressions of people for the recast. And
Brad being the comic, you would think that he's going to have all the impressions, and that Vic and I are just going to stand here and sit here and laugh at them.
I just have all the good ones. Buddy!
Okay.
So this is actually the birth of one of our most probably beloved impressions on the show.
Wow, here's something. Zooey Deschanel auditioned for Amber. Amber and Cher, yeah. Owen Wilson auditioned for Travis, the stoner.
Oh, okay.
Breckin Meyer's character.
Wow. I didn't even know.
Leah Remini? Is that how you say it?
Did you just do an impression?
Yes, I did. How was it?
Is that the Olsen one? Let me hear it again.
Yeah, you like that?
Let me hear it again.
Okay. Here you go. Wow, I didn't even know I went out for this movie.
It's actually not too terrible for Owen Wilson.
See, that's why I was asking Vic's opinion, because he's not here. He can't actually see
all
me.
you're doing is just talking like this.
Wow.
I mean, I was like Clueless. That's the kind of movie I should be in.
It's the wow I have down. That's the easy part.
Wow.
Everything. Wow. You have to kind of talk from the back of your throat, kind of. Yeah.
Do a Luke Wilson impression.
Wow.
It's the exact same thing.
They all sound the same.
No, I think Luke Wilson sounds really different, doesn't he?
He sounds a little bit different, yeah. But if you really
He's
listen,
got kind of more of a serious tone.
Well, it's because Owen's nose is broken that way. It's like half that guy. His nose annoys me. I can't watch him on TV on a movie without like staring at his nose.
Well,
like
he's got-
fucking,
what
you
you
have
saying,
a ton
Vic?
of money. Fix that.
What you trying to say?
they've got another brother too that talks that sounds just like him too. They all three of them sound the same.
Do you think they have another brother that was a volleyball that got lost at sea with Tom Cruise?
That's their fourth brother, yes.
They don't talk about him very often.
And from a corrections department, that was actually our second Survivor Series.
Yes, we forgot. We did Street Fighter originally with Jean-Claude Van Damme, and we were going to just like, whatever, we'll just leave it out. But then, some things are worth fighting for.
Yeah. And I forgot. That clip reminded me that was the first time we used Skype.
Oh, with Vic, yeah.
So that
when he was in jail.
Yeah, when he was in jail. Yeah, it's amazing that they allow Skyping for podcasts while in jail. But
hold on.
What? Did I miss something?
Me saying, "Oh yeah," when he was in jail, is the perfect climax to that joke. You adding in, yeah, it's amazing what they let him do in jail. podcast and such
Well, it is.
is unnecessary. It's not funnier than the goddamn punchline I delivered. How many times, Corey? You're going to give me a stroke.
You're turning into...
You're just...
You're
God,
turning,
let it sit. Let the goddamn joke sit. It was perfect. It was a perfect ending to it. You just had to go off with nonsense.
your face is getting red.
I know. I got to calm down.
Okay.
Where's my blood pressure medication? By the way, also, bonus part of that clip, I said that the Wilson, the volleyball, was stranded on an island with Tom Cruise. And no one caught it. Not even myself. That's for the whole show.
Yep.
Our next clip is maybe the most awkward moment in the history of the show.
What's that?
So as you know, Corey, we go to these conventions.
Yeah.
We like to interview famous people.
Mm-hmm.
You're a star fucker, so you get off on it.
No, nobody's supposed to know
You
that.
sit over there and you ejaculate.
I just sit in the corner.
You're the god of thunder and lightning and ejaculate.
Oh, God.
You cleanse these mortals with your lightning ejaculate.
Christopher Lambert's back.
Creepy Christopher Lambert to you, mortal. So we were at the Horror Hound Convention, Indianapolis' largest horror convention, so I said it, and we were interviewing Michael Rooker.
Yes.
From
Walking Dead, Guardians of the Galaxy. Cliffhanger.
And by the way, for Guardians of the Galaxy, the blue guy with the dart.
Yeah. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. Excellent movie.
Before we were going to interview him, though, he was talking to a couple of fans who... They got into a conversation about his age. They didn't know it. He said they should Google it, and they should know it's all over the place on the internet. So we looked it up before we went to talk to him, and he was 61. And I was really focused on that, getting that 61-year-old joke in there.
Well, I think it was a combination of that, and you were really something else, too. You had been drinking that day.
Yeah, I had been. So, it's almost as awkward as this setup.
Yeah.
We are here and honored to be interviewing 61-year-old Michael Booker.
You even got the name wrong,
At Horror Hound Convention.
Can you believe this guy called me Michael Booker?
I said Rooker. It's a tweak in the audio.
Hey, you got it. Go ahead, sir. Go.
We are honored to be here with you, sir. Star of Cliffhanger. And I have to ask you, all of our fans want to know, if for 1 year, 365 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you either had to have a popcorn kernel stuck in your tooth or wear flip-flops 24/7, what would you choose?
Shut up.
Thank you for joining us, 61-year-old Michael Rooker. Showdowners.
12-year-old. What's your name, bro?
Oh, yeah, you don't know my name either?
What's your name?
That's the real embarrassment.
What's your
Brad Scott.
12-year-old Brad Scott.
12-year-old Brad Scott.
Best part of that.
Yep. Because he said your name.
No.
Yeah.
To my right, directly to my right, the direction that I was facing, the wall that I was facing for the interview.
Yes. Behind him.
You
could have cheated.
Giant banner. Michael Rooker.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like a fraternity house.
Yeah.
Letters.
Yeah.
That big.
Yeah.
And he called me a bitch, by the way. I don't know if you caught that. He called me a bitch immediately.
Yeah.
And it almost felt like he was, like, I don't know. I think maybe part of him at first thought maybe I was doing, like, I was fucking with him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was doing it on purpose in almost a disrespectful way. And then I think he saw the fear in my eyes after he called me a bitch and how awkward I felt. And I think he smelled that I had shat my pants.
Yeah.
And so he softened up.
Yeah.
But then I asked him a dumbass question. So then he's on the fence again. Is this guy being serious or is this guy fucking with me? But he...
In all honesty, I'll say from an outsider point, I know that Rooker isn't... He's not as intimidating as people think he might be. He is more playful than he comes off.
No. Man, I know. Well, you didn't... God damn it, Corey!
What?
Again! Step it on me!
I'm not stepping on it.
I was getting ready to say yes. I was going to say it because, I was going to say, he put up the big facade, but then he, as soon as we got done, as soon as we turned the camera off, he gave me a big hug, and he was a nice, he shook our hands, he laughed with us.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I was getting at.
Yes, you just did it in a very less eloquent way.
You can't even say eloquent.
I'm not articulate.
Apparently. Yeah, well, it's funny though when that actually happened. We're Vic and I are standing back. Vic's recording it, and I'm just standing back behind Vic. And when that happened, when you said it, I was like, I hope he didn't really or I hope I misheard that. And
you did not,
and I didn't. But what was great was there was a crowd that was building around us.
You heard him do the
Yeah, you heard them
when he called me a bitch.
Yeah, you heard them start to laugh. So I think that helped lighten the mood a little bit.
Just wait for that motherfucker to be like,
yeah,
and then I'm just dead. Just an arrow through my head. So our next clip, it's the main event. It's what we consider to be from the clips that we've got now, and I think we should do another one of these because I think there's other clips we could go back and find.
I'm sure there is.
If we go through and kind of dig and listen, like if we split these episodes up, it wouldn't be that bad, and maybe we could do in a month or two another episode of the best of.
Yeah, it's a matter of us going through over 100 episodes and trying to figure out what other stuff.
And so, without further ado, our final clip of the worst of the Showdown Podcast Survivor Series episode is from our first St. Patrick's Day themed episode from 2016. Our guest was Brent Terhune. No, it wasn't. He was Leprechaun 2.
He was on Leprechaun 2.
Oh, those gingers. I confused him with Wart Davis. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So
he's not going to listen to this anyway.
No. And if you want some context for this impression that you're going to hear, just go watch the original Leprechaun movie starring Jennifer Aniston. And the very opening sequence is a man who is he had captured the leprechaun, and he has his big bag of gold, and he comes home to Ireland to his wife. He comes back home to America from Ireland, where he caught the evil leprechaun, and he comes home to his wife, and he's showing her the bag of gold, and his wife is confused by all of it. So, I think that's enough context. But again, if you wanna be on the complete inside, go watch the opening scene of the original Leprechaun, starring Jennifer Aniston.
Over there, you figure he came across some money somehow. And maybe some family gave it to him, but a leprechaun?
You've been over there sucking the dick, have you? Charles O'Grady, have you been putting the penises in your mouth? That's a lot of gold coins. That's probably a lot of penises you've been sucking over there, Charles O'Grady. Daniel O'Grady, excuse me. I don't know why.
I was wondering how many times you were going to say Charles.
Would have been better if he just made up a different name each time.
Daniel O'Grady is the man that left. Charles O'Grady is the man that sucked dicks and came back with gold coins. I married Daniel O'Grady.
So he finally convinces his wife.
I tell you what, man, I sound like a damn sexy Irish woman. But there's actually a second part to this clip.
Yeah.
From the same episode, from our Leprechaun episode. And one of our other, it's not necessarily a callback joke or it's not like a reoccurring bit. It's more, Corey is consistently awful. And he is constantly fucking up jokes, whether he's stepping on them, whether he's having, even in this show, like this entire goddamn show. I wish I was the one in Delaware or California being beaten up by the police. Corey fucks up a lot of jokes. And this one I gave him a softball. No, I gave him a T-ball. It wasn't just a big ball that I softly threw. I actually went and got one of those rubber home base inner tube T-ball stands, and I sat it there, and then I sat a basketball on top of the tee, just waiting for Corey to come up with a bat and knock it out of the park. And instead, Corey came up, he moved the tee, and then just took a big shit all over home base.
Loads it into his slingshot, reaches back and proclaims,
Fuck you. Look.
"Oh my God! What the fuck? Jesus Christ! How do you mess that up?"
I couldn't remember.
You couldn't remember? Fuck you! Said it like 10 minutes ago. You're a liar.
I know.
Okay, so
you caught me off guard too. I wasn't totally.
we've been pointing at you about this. So he reaches back, he cocks back, proclaims "fuck you, Lucky Charms," fires the 3-leaf clover wrapped in bubble gum.
Oh, wait, what did he do, Vic? What did he do? What did he fire into his mouth?
Oh, the 4-leaf clover. Sorry.
First of all, yeah, and we have to say, it's shamrock. It's a 3-leaf clover. They don't call them 3-leaf clovers. They call them shamrocks. There's not a 3-leaf clover shake at McDonald's every March.
All right, Charlie O'Grady.
Yeah, that was pretty.
Yeah, exactly. So
Charles O'Grady, you're out there just sucking cock.
he pulls back and fires.
You're a good man, Charles O'Grady, but you've sucked a lot of penis.
It goes directly into the leprechaun's mouth. He starts to gag because it went in too far.
I would make you some tea, Charles O'Grady, but I imagine you've already had a few bags.
That was sex.
Was it?
That was sex with the audience's ears right there.
If you say so.
All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to deliberate and decide whether the Showdown Podcast survives. Stay tuned.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
It's commercial time! You know what, Corey?
Yeah.
This is the best of episode.
Yeah, it is.
It's just me and you here.
It is.
I'm not going to make anyone in the room laugh if I do the very hacky, old joke of cutting you off after telling you can go first. So in the spirit of the best of, I'm going to give you the best of me.
Uh-oh.
And I'm going to let you go first.
Oh, sweet. All right, you can find me on
Are you kidding me? It would never be hacky. It's the best of show. It's a collection of our best jokes, and this is by far one of the best jokes we have, and you fall for it every time. Call me Lucy, because I'm pulling footballs, and follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brad Scott Comedy, or if you need to just go click a link, go to bradscottcomedy.com and check out my funny videos. Check out my other podcast with my best friend Brent Terhune. It's called WrestleMania. It's not pro wrestling talk. It's sports entertaining. WrestleMania. That's WrestleMania with an A. Check out Vic Miller at Black and Angry on all video game platforms. Also check him out as Miller King 51 on Twitter and Instagram. Check out the show at the Showdown Pod on Twitter and Instagram. And check out the Showdown Podcast on Facebook. Click like. Somebody should. All right, Corey, go ahead.
I think the music needs to be longer, but you can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at NKO Gonzo. Also, be sure to check out Vic and I's other podcast, the Miller Times Pod. You can find that on Twitter at Miller Times Pod. That is a show that we look back at some of the TV shows that we watch, and we kind of critique them and give our opinions. And a lot of stuff recently has not been good, so it might be you might have fun listening to us berate some of the shows that we actually like.
The music didn't used to be shorter, Corey. The show just got bigger.
Ooh.
And now, let's get back to the Showdown Podcast. And now, welcome back to the Showdown Podcast. Welcome back to our special best of episode. We hope you enjoyed it. We hope you found it to be funny. We hope if you are a new listener, it kind of, get you up to speed with things. And if you're a showdowner, we love you. We really love you. And you really love us.
We hope so. I mean, you're still around, so.
So, Corey.
Yeah.
This time I am sincerely going to let you go first.
That is a shocker.
Don't ruin it.
Okay.
So, Corey, go ahead and let the people know what you think of the Showdown podcast. What's your decision?
Well, there are times where some of your jokes don't hit. Mine always do. And, even though yours kind of bring it down a little bit, mine tend to bring it back up again. So I think it helps to bring it to a good side. So, yeah, I say the Showdown still holds up.
I'm actually proud of you.
Thank you.
That wasn't an awful answer.
Thank you. I've been practicing.
I remember the first time I did the Showdown. And I remember I came to this house.
Mm-hmm.
I met a giant black man full of love, life, energy, diabetes.
Unconfirmed.
I took a look around the Miller Zoo. And then we did the show. The first show, the very first Showdown podcast. Longest Yard versus Longest Yard.
Yeah.
And I left thinking, we're not going to make it past 3 episodes.
We've got a lot of work to do.
This was awful. This was the most boring thing I've ever done. And I have had root canals, sat through defensive driving school, and performed community service in the middle school where my younger cousin currently attended. And that was by far the worst experience of my life.
Oh, okay.
And then one day something happened. I came over and we did an episode. And I left and I told my girlfriend at the time, executive producer Molly Smith, I said, this show is dying. I said, enough is enough. It's time for a change. I took myself out of the ring with a stellar undefeated record. And I put on the stripes.
I'm not quite sure that was undefeated.
And I became, call me the host, the referee, the judge, God.
The jury.
God. God damn it, Corey! God was that was the final joke. What jury? Jury! Why?
Well, we were doing battles. And you were judging.
And since then, you goddamn right, the Showdown Podcast is a survivor. It goes into our Hall of... How do we go into the Hall of Fame?
I don't know, but fuck it. It's our show. We'll do what we want.
No, I mean, like, literally, we always use movie posters for the Hall of Fame, so are we going to have to create a... You know what?
You know what? Hold on. We are due for a new logo, so I think it's only fitting.
And you know what I think we need to do?
Huh.
The three of us, me, you, okay, we'll have to figure this out. The three of us need to get together, and we need to find a great movie poster to parody.
Ooh, I got it.
That could be the three of us. And whether we do it through Photoshop or an actual photo shoot, don't say it on air.
Okay.
Because I want this to be a surprise.
Okay.
Because it'll be our new logo.
I got a perfect one.
It'll be our new logo, and that is what we should do.
Okay. I got a perfect one. We should do a few of them, though.
Okay, but let's work on the one.
Okay.
So, guys,
we say a lot of shit on here that we want to do, and then it never happens.
This will. Surprisingly, the thing that we've said the most, that would probably be the easiest thing in the world to do, is me saying over and over again, no, I don't have the goddamn Twitter handle information. I don't have the password. And yet somehow I still don't. I've never had the Twitter account. And I'm going to be joining that thing tonight. So, yeah, the Showdown goes into the Hall of Fame. I mean, this feels weird to talk about on a best of episode because it's topical.
What do you mean, patting ourselves on the back, or?
But I guess in a way, It's topical, but it also relates to the Showdown in the sense of we're going to talk about the new Stephen King remake of the 1990s miniseries It.
Uh-huh.
And if you're not familiar, you should be. Stephen King's It was terrifying when you were 10, like I was. Or excuse me, 8, like I was. Or if you were 80, like Corey was.
Thank you.
And it terrorized a generation of children, made them afraid of clowns. And it was a miniseries on a network owned by Disney. And it still managed to be creepy and scary. And I'd say, aside from all the legacy accomplishments, the fact that they're remaking it and people seems like it's going to break all type of horror records, it defeated the movie Halloween on the Showdown podcast in the inaugural Halloween episode. It is the inaugural Halloween Showdown champion. And Corey, who had the movie Halloween?
That would have been Vic.
No, don't go anywhere. Stay right there. Stay right there. Don't go anywhere. Okay. You still there with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm here.
So what we're gonna do is we have 2 more clips for you. Okay, we lied. The Leprechaun one wasn't the big finale. We do have a big finale planned. It's freaking fireworks and all types of shit. But first, we're going to talk about the Stephen King It remake, the new trailer that dropped today, the second trailer. And not really a trailer, though. Just few scenes.
Yeah.
Wasn't very long. But we're going to get into that. Before we do, like as I mentioned earlier, it won our inaugural Halloween episode. And why did it win, Corey?
Because I was drunk.
Because you were drunk. This is not the Best of Showdown podcast. This is an intervention. That was just a front.
Oh,
you have a problem.
I do.
You forgot to mention a giant spider
Yeah.
that looked awful.
Yeah.
Right?
Unfortunately, and I'm going to hear about it for years on end.
But that's not the worst part.
That's not?
No. Not only did I seamlessly rope-a-dope and masterfully, played you like a puppet to where I avoided that conversation about the spider and only argued the first 3/4 of the movie. I also convinced both you and a sober Vic Miller that Stephen King's It, a television miniseries, was a heated debate through the Academy. That's right. The Academy, the Oscars, as to whether to let a TV movie in because that TV movie is so good. And I want you to listen. Here's what I want you to pay attention to during this clip. Corey is so drunk and so just kind of out of it. He's not listening to what I'm saying. He's picking up bullet points and then waiting for his turn to talk.
Yeah, pretty much.
Vic, I can't tell if Vic is kind of figures it out and gets in on it.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't.
So here is me convincing Corey and Vic that it was up for an Academy was almost an Academy Award nominee.
They 48 hours before that. No, they actually. 48 hours. They actually. Forget the one with the black guy in it. The Academy had a split vote on allowing this into the Oscars. There's a lot of controversy because obviously it was a TV miniseries, but it was going to be up for Best Picture. Like several supporting actor nominations across the board, and it ended up being like it was almost like a split decision or something, but it wasn't. It ended up not being allowed into the Academy Awards.
It shouldn't have been.
But they were saying like it'll clearly win Best Picture. Vic, can you pull up what won Best Picture in 1990? They were saying like it was. They were saying like artistically and everything else, it would have been.
In 1990, obviously the standards were a little bit lower.
What movie ended up winning in 1990?
You do that, and we'll keep rambling on. Let's see, what else? What other things we talk about here that I didn't like? Other than the fact that I know what one thing I can talk about: the length. Yeah, I realize this was a mini-series.
Yeah,
but 3 fucking hours.
It's an hour and a half per part.
Oh my
90
God.
minutes. That's what a normal.
Yeah, there was so much stuff though that could have been cut out. There was. They could have made this a 2-hour film, put it in the theaters, and been done with it. There was so much. I like it when you have some backstory on characters. That way we know, what reasons for them doing certain things are. But this was just way too much. I'm like,
Ghost.
I don't care.
Ghost, one in 1990? Yeah, see, it was like widely, they were like everybody across the board, all the film critics, everybody was saying like, well, it will clearly win Best Picture, but then not getting into the Academy Awards. So
yeah, there's no reason there's no reason it should have been. I mean, it's always been.
It would have also been up against Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
There was no way that was up for.
Yeah, it was.
What?
Yes.
What was
listed? It was listed. It was listed as one of the nominees. I just looked at it. Are you serious? Yeah.
Are you fucking? No way. What's the full list? I'm curious what the full list is. I mean, I believe you, but I'm just curious what the full list was. That's insane. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles be up for Best Picture?
Yeah.
See, there was something wrong in 1990 then. If that's up for Best Picture along with consideration for a TV movie. Dead air.
That's because you stopped talking.
I know.
no, it wasn't. It was first of all, Dances with Wolves won. Awakenings, Ghost, Godfather Part 3, and Goodfellas were the nominations.
Okay, I'm looking backwards.
Wow. What were you?
It's IMDb.
But here's the thing. It is a way better movie than Dances with Wolves, and that's the one they were saying. Everybody across the board, all the big critics.
I haven't even seen Dances with the Wolves, and I would say that's better.
All the big critics have said it would have cleaned house.
Now, Godfather
the term I saw used most was clean house.
Now, Godfather 3, yeah, that probably shouldn't have been nominated. That probably only got nominated because of Francis Ford Coppola or the fact that it's Godfather, so there's no reason that should have been there anyway. But I would pick Ghost over this as far as Best Picture. I wouldn't pick Silence of the Lambs because naturally I haven't seen that. So,
and because it wasn't out that year, but okay.
Yeah. Whatever.
So what do you have? Is that all you have?
How would you guys like to peek behind the curtain again? Okay, so I asked Corey for a pen and a piece of paper while this is going on because there was a few things that in that sound clip that I wanted to remember to mention about the sound clip. And so he hands me the notebook or hands me the pen and I'm writing on the notebook like a note for myself, and he keeps trying to read it. And I'm telling him very visibly, clearly to stop looking. I'm pointing at what I wrote and mouthing, "It's for me," and telling and then also as he's still leaning in, doing the motion of pushing him away, like stop. So this motherfucker decides to grab the notepad to get a better look, and I have to grab it back like a mother dealing with a toddler. And no, and moved it. I had to move it to my other side, and then he's still peeping over, and I'm like, stop looking. So here's what I want to talk about from this sound clip.
God.
There's so much, okay? Like so much. Like you literally said at one point when we were talking about the duration of the film.
Yeah.
How it was 3 hours.
Yeah.
There's so much to cut. Like, I don't know, the horrible-looking fake giant spider at the end. You were so drunk that, you were just kind of waiting for your turn to talk, listening to my bullet points of whatever I was saying. Because that was my favorite part of the whole thing, was also how defensive you got and how almost offended you were that this TV movie was going to be put in the same category as The Godfather 3.
No, I said Godfather 3 was bad.
Oh, fuck! I fucked up that too.
Yeah. Bum bum ba-dum. Yeah. So
but you did. You got so defensive about everything. You were like when you tell a drunk person a lie just to fuck with them, but then like they're really drunk, but they know that's bullshit. Like like that's what you were like. And again, you were actually drunk, so it's kind of a perfect analogy.
The first and only time I was drunk on the show, I learned my lesson.
What's that?
I said,
"Oh yeah."
You're not even paying attention to me.
Yeah, how does it feel?
Yeah.
Also, did you guys notice that where the hell did Vic get Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? And did you hear when he said that? No,
don't play it again.
No, I'm just gonna play this one part.
Okay.
Not the whole thing. I know.
Yeah, but it's gonna take you forever to find it.
I want you to pay attention to when Vic says that it's gonna be going up against Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I say, are you serious? And at that point in time, I think I was starting to question whether it actually might have been up for an Oscar. Like, I was like, what? Like, I was like, hold on. Like, I was fucking around.
Yeah.
And so I want you to pay attention to that.
Reason it should have been. I mean, it's always been.
Would have also been up against Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
There was no way that was up for.
Yeah, it was.
What?
Yes.
What was
listed? It was listed. It was listed as one of the nominees. I just looked at it. Are you serious? Yeah.
Are you?
Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Wait, are you being serious? Is this life? Has the top stopped spinning?
Yeah, that
and then,
that just shows you how drunk I was. That I actually was like, oh really? Then
one other thing right after that, listen to what Vic says after I read off the actual list of Best Picture nominees. Listen to how Vic justifies his mistake.
First of all, Dances with Wolves won. Awakenings, Ghost, Godfather Part 3, and Goodfellas were the nominations.
Okay, I'm looking at backwards.
Wow, what were you?
It's IMDb. But here's the thing. It is a way better movie than Dances with Wolves, and that's the one they were saying. Everybody across the board, all the big critics.
I haven't even seen Dances with.
he blames IMDb.
He also says he looked at it backwards.
Yeah, I heard that too.
What did you look at backwards? And first of all, that doesn't even make sense. It would still be the same list, front or back. It's not like it's Dancing with Wolves, Godfather 3, Ghost this way, and then if you read it the other way, it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Space Jam, and
Stephen King's it,
and the Rainbow Bright movie. So what the fuck was Vic talking about? You know what? This is where we miss him. R.I.P. VIC, but man, we need to figure out what the hell was going on.
Was he drinking on that episode too?
No, but I do love how when Vic he didn't really get defensive, but I think in your drunk mind you thought he was. So you do go, no, I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you. Of course Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles would be nominated for Best Picture. But I'm just saying I would like to see some proof. But I believe you. And oh god. So just go ahead, sorry.
No, that's all I had.
Yeah, that was and by the way, did you also hear me there towards the end talking about how all the big critics were saying it's just gonna clean house was the term most popular. I said that the Academy it's so obvious that I'm just making shit up as I go, and neither one of you pick up on it at all.
Yeah, I had an excuse.
It's so good. So yeah, now let's moving into the 2017 It. What were your thoughts on the second trailer?
Well, as you said before, it was just kind of like a couple of scenes, really, and they weren't full scenes, but the scene where they're going at the beginning was kind of interesting, and the one little joke in there about you're standing in Derry's Derry's pee, the pee of everything.
Oh, the pee and shit.
Yeah. And so, and then you get a little glimpse. I think there was a balloon in there. I saw it a couple days ago. So
there's a balloon that comes floating towards them, and then it shows like what is probably going to end up being their individual encounters with Pennywise. It's like their reactions.
Yeah.
and then it closes with Eddie by that creepy house, the Norbit Street, something like that.
I guess.
And it's a sea of balloons, red balloons that float up, revealing Pennywise's complete face. The first time we saw that.
Yeah, I thought that was a good shot. I thought it was creepy, and it didn't linger too long. In the trailer, it was just kind of like as soon as it shows it, bam, it cuts to black.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think this has been the best marketed movie since the Blair Witch Project.
Okay.
It has that same vibe to me. It's a scary movie, and it feels like everyone is just ecstatic to see it, and they've been doing it. I mean, I haven't seen the trailer on TV once. It's all been through social media.
Right.
It's all been on the internet. It's all been kind of, I don't know. It has that same feeling to me, I guess. Does that make any sense? Do you see?
Yeah,
do you understand?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Secondly, I didn't like this trailer.
You really?
That scene, you're right. That scene was a good scene. It was creepy. It was cool. But to me, I didn't get enough.
Yeah.
I want to hear him talk. I know that is going to come.
Yeah.
But for me, this would be like a dud. Like when I saw that first trailer, I mean, I was like, I have to watch this movie right now. I can't wait 6 fucking months. I saw this one, and I'm like, I'd rather go back and rewatch the first trailer.
Yeah, this trailer wasn't really scary. It was a little creepy at the end, but overall, I think it was something. It was something just to whet people's appetite.
Yeah, and
Give
I'm
them
not
just a little bit more.
I'm not knocking the trailer or saying they did a bad job.
Right.
I am saying subjectively, personally, for me, it did not do much for me.
Yeah,
and so it didn't give me any more excitement. I'm at the peak excitement.
Yeah.
They could not release another thing about this movie, and I'm still going to be there the very first opportunity I get. I'm not going to one of those free screenings, though, so don't even ask.
All right.
This movie I'm going to watch during the day.
That way you have time to get it out of your system by the time you go to sleep.
No. What are you,
so
fucking
you're not scared.
5? You gotta watch cartoons. You gotta watch the Flintstones before you go to bed because you don't have bad dreams.
Yep.
No, because then I don't have assholes to deal with all around me, and I will probably kill someone if they're talking during this movie. So I want to go during the day when there's gonna be the fewest amount of people that are gonna be there for it. I want to.
You're gonna go to the 10 o'clock a.m. screening.
No, you know what?
Friday.
Actually, I'll probably go to the premiere night, the Thursday, because don't they usually premiere movies on a Thursday?
Yeah, sometimes.
I'll probably go to the latest showing of that.
Why? It's going to be packed.
In like Franklin.
It still might be packed.
I don't think it's going to hit. I don't think it's going to be that. I've seen people that are saying it's going to be the biggest opening in history.
I don't know about
That's
that.
foolish.
Yeah.
Horror movies don't do that.
No.
I will drink a shot of steak sauce, of A1 steak sauce, a shot glass full. I will drink one for every 10 minutes. I will drink one every 10 minutes while we record an episode if that movie sets the all-time opening weekend box office record.
You heard it here first.
Yes. It's just horror movies don't do that. They just don't.
No, that's true.
There's not enough of a reach. We don't even know what else is going to be opening at that time. So I think it's going to be the biggest horror movie opening ever, but I don't think it's going to be the biggest movie opening ever. But I'm still really excited. Again, it's probably it's one of, if not my absolute favorite scary movie of all time, the original miniseries. So to see it finally be done right, where they can embrace the violence, the darkness of the story, they're not constricted. Because again, people don't realize when they did this through Disney on the TV miniseries, they had a rule. They were not allowed to show a child in immediate danger. That's kind of hard to make a creepy movie where the source material is a clown that eats children's penises. This clown, though, he's no mere mortal. He's an internal being like myself. But he doesn't ejaculate cleansing of mortals. He just eats their penises.
Oh boy, we're never gonna live this down, Vic. You do realize that?
I'm
right?
gonna be selective with it. Don't worry.
All
right, guys. We as promised, we have one more best of highlight for you coming up. But before we get to that, we want to take a minute here to thank all of our guest hosts who have joined us on the Showdown over the years. From Steve Simone, Matt Holt, Jeff Fibbert, my best friend, Mr. Turkey, Brent Terhune, Jimmy Roberson,
Chris Trueblood, Bob East, Mike Whitcliffe, Brandon Peters and Colin Bricker of Colt Cinema Cavalcade, Andy D, your daughter, Harper. And
I can't believe I forgot my daughter, Harper.
I know.
It's because you didn't have her listed with the people I was going to read.
I know.
She's outside of the box.
Yeah, she is.
I love you, Harper, more than life itself.
She's not listening anyway.
The only reason Daddy didn't mention you up front is because Corey fucked up again. He also skipped over Carl Doniger, the president of PopCon.
I didn't skip. I didn't get a chance to say it. You interrupted.
Really? Because it seemed like you went to some names, Andy D, Brandon Peters, afterwards, Carl Doniger. But we love Carl. He's one of the best people we've ever known. He's treated us so well. PopCon we want to thank. Horror Hound we want to thank. Whatever other conventions along the way in advance, thank you. And I think that's it for the thank yous.
No, I don't know. I think there might be one that you didn't see. You could have used that joke. That would have worked.
I'm trying to!
How do you want me to
I'm trying to do the reaction thing that you want me to do all the time!
How do you want me to set it up?
No, it was set up! I mean, no, originally, it would have been nice to just have the regular joke that we worked on. Here was the joke, guys. I say that's it. And Corey says, there's one more name. It's Patrick, your blind friend. No, you're just going to say it's Patrick. And I was going to say, oh, I didn't see the name. That was the joke because he's blind. And instead, you decided to jump all over it and get in there so you could get your joke. You wanted the joke. You wanted the glory. So you got in there with your you must not have seen it. You know, wink, wink. Because he can't do that. Because he's blind. You're like that kid that does none of the work in the group project, but is the first one to tell the teacher how hard you worked.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick. You will be back on soon. We're going to do Blind Fury with you. And then we will have Patrick join us. If you haven't listened, Patrick was our Christmas special episodes 2 years ago, our Make-A-Wish episodes. And last year, scheduling conflicts got in the way. So this year, he's going to be back for Christmas, and we're going to have him on probably later this summer. And we also are looking forward to another guy who's been a loyal supporter, Maverick Atterbury. Very talented guy. Him, he does a podcast, Flannel Cakes Podcast. Him and Matt Warner eat cereal and watch cartoons, old school cartoons, and then do kind of a recap of the episode they watched. And it's a really funny, smart, very geek oriented for some of the cartoons, and just very, very good guy. So we're gonna hopefully have him on the show as well. Maybe have both of them on. We'll have the Flannel Cakes Showdown, crossover extravaganza. All right, so here we are.
Yep.
The big finale.
The finale.
As promised, we have one last highlight for you. And it's a 2-part highlight, and it's going to run together. It's the cause and the reaction. Ladies and gentlemen, I present Corey Miller's Weekend at Bernie's.
Mine is Weekend at Bernie's, and this, to me, is not a comedy. I see Weekend at Bernie's as a drama. Yes, really? I know.
What?
Yes.
What?
Now hear me out. If you look on IMDb and you ask people, they all think it's a comedy. While if you watch this film as a 10 or 12-year-old or whenever it came out, and or even when it came out, and we were that age, yeah, we think it's funny because they're dragging a dead body around, and he's doing different things. Oh, that's funny. It's a kid. Yeah, that's funny. But I'm watching it as an almost 40-year-old now, and I see it as a drama. And here's why. You got two guys who are working for a company, and I think it's New York. I'm not sure if it specifically said, but they're working for a company in New York, and they find out that
it is because Jones Bees. There's mention of
Jones. Yeah, okay. And they find out that there's somebody that they're paying for. They're spending extra money on this person who's dead, and so it's like. So they bring it to their boss, Bernie, and he's like, great job. But later on, you find out that Bernie goes, and he's been spending money on this person because that money is actually going to the mob. Now, see, there's nothing funny here. I can see this. I can see this happening in any kind of drama. You know, John Grisham movie could be written this way. So anyhow, he's like, you got to kill these two dudes because they know. And he's like, all right, we'll do it. But when he leaves, it's like, kill Bernie. Don't kill those two. So that happens, and now these two guys find out once they get out. He had invited them out to his beach house, which I have to say is one ugly-ass beach house. I don't know if it was really nice in the 80s, but it was really freaking ugly. But anyhow, they get out there and they find out that he's dead. Now, there's no comedy in this. You just found a dead body, and now you're going the whole weekend trying to pretend that he's alive so you can actually party and live his life for the weekend.
All right, welcome back. We have taken some time. We've deliberated. Bob, have you reached your decision?
I've reached my decision.
Okay, you're the guest, so go ahead.
The winner is Vic with his Police Academy argument, and against Corey, basically had no argument. So
I tried.
Again, I think it's a situation where you had to defend a movie that you didn't feel like defending. So
It's. I'll wait for Brad's decision.
No, go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
I don't want it to affect your
Go ahead.
decision. It's not going to affect your decision.
Okay, all right. You know what?
Okay, here. I was just going to say that, no, I didn't think most of the stuff in it was funny. You're right. And so I looked at it in a different light and saw it as a drama. And so that's the way I, watched the whole thing. And for a drama, it wasn't bad. And that's why I try to defend it this way. So, I tried. Whatever. But, yes, I did watch it yesterday, as some people tend to not believe.
Okay. Here's the thing. I originally was going to give the win to Corey.
No, I knew I should have kept my mouth shut.
You should have. Because you started off by saying it's not funny. And that was my whole reason as to actually going to pick you, is because I like Weekend at Bernie's that much more than I like Police Academy. And you almost fucked it up.
Well, it sounds like I did. It sounds like...
I'm still giving you the win.
Oh!
Vic, you weren't passionate enough about Police Academy to overturn my bias for Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my God!
I love Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my
love
God!
that movie. It's so funny.
Wait, hold up. But see, I didn't think that's how the show works.
It's not about your love for the movie.
Because my favorite movie of the two is Weekend at Bernie's, but I was unbiased and went with who had the better argument. Just like on the last podcast, Psycho to me is way better than Texas Chainsaw, but I go with who I had the stronger argument.
And the start of the podcast, as you mentioned last time, is an unbiased decision.
But as a judge, you can judge however you want. So
I'm an utter.
You bring up a really good point.
Here it comes. Oh my God!
Obviously, you haven't figured out how the show works.
You really gave him the win because you liked the movie better?
Yeah.
He didn't even argue. He didn't even argue one point. You have literally voted against me because of what he just did.
I'm not gonna lie. I agree. I am
literally
just
voted
as
against
shocked
me.
as you are. I am just as shocked as you are.
Oh my gosh!
But and it is an upset. It's a big upset. Because it was a horrible argument. It really was.
Oh my god!
But you know what? I've got to tell you though, I've got to give you props because Weekend at Bernie's, I agree, is
it's so much better of a movie that like.
I love Weekend at Bernie's so much.
Honestly, I honestly thought he was gonna fuck it up too. I did. Like he tried.
He literally just told you that it sucked.
I know.
This is ridiculous.
We should show you
You
how much.
You have literally voted against me
show you how much
less than what this fool has done tonight.
Show you how much I don't like Police Academy.
Oh my god.
Well, I don't get
Talk about robbing the black man.
I also have to say,
the one thing I don't understand is how anybody could see Weekend at Bernie's but anything but a comedy. I can see there's some dramatic stuff in it, but how can you not see the comedy in it? I mean, it's such a slapstick comedy.
Why do I feel like this is the type of game where they're gonna have to take the referee out with a coat over his head, with security all around and put me in like a police like?
You're gonna have to put a fucking bulletproof vest on you when they do that.
I know. I'm just as shocked, Vic.
Oh my god!
It caught me as off guard as it caught you.
So we have another tie.
There's no way in hell this should be a tie. I have taken losses with a grain of salt, but this one is fucking chafing my ass. Hardcore. Hard fucking core.
You know, it's weird, Vic. I felt the same way when I was talking about white men can't jump.
Bullshit.
And blue chips beat me.
Thanks for listening, buddy.
I think he was playing like Outlander or something.
How about Call of Duty?
Okay, we'll say Call of Duty.
You're gonna have to edit this because now you just ruined the
No, I
joke.
didn't. No,
No, you're not. We're not leaving this in. This isn't one of those moments. I want to go back and do it proper because the end setup joke is better. Ready? Why would you change the goddamn video game name? It was God.